Good morning and welcome to the Home and Health Show here on WMUZ 103.5 The Light. I'm Chris Ayod, your host this morning, joined by our friend and guest, Kaylajoy. Kayla is the owner and president of RC Heating and Cooling. They are an Energy Star certified company. And what a legacy, what a history and reputation. They've been in business in total for 39 years, but recently acquired by Kaylajoy to carry the torch, to continue to help customers who need excellent service for their heating and cooling units. Kaylajoy, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
AKA the HVAC Barbie.
I know. I love it.
Yeah. You've got your pink water bottle here today.
Yep.
Tells you when to drink water.
It does. Yeah.
It's programmed.
Yeah. It's also an app. So you want to drink a gallon of water a day, to stay healthy.
An app for your water. That tells me you're in the right business because you talk about these temperature thermostats that are app related. And
it tells you when to change your filter. Tells you when your AC is going down, tells you when your furnace is too cold. Yeah, it's very similar. So this
I have app envy. I'm just going to be honest with you. No, this is great to have you with us. It is a toasty, roasty, hot time of year here in the summertime. A lot of homeowners oftentimes aren't thinking about their heating and cooling units until they have a problem. And it's oftentimes, in the dead cold of winter when the furnace goes out or in the dead heat of summer. So there are a lot of things that our homeowners should be thinking about. You mentioned changing the filter. Before we get into all of that, I think it's important for our WMUZ audience to get to know you, your background a little bit, and why this company and your services is something you wanted to carry on.
Yeah, so myself, I've been working in the business for 10 years, and when I started at the old company, it used to be called Ron's Custom Heating and Cooling, I was just a secretary, and I eventually, within 6 months, started bossing the boss around. So Ron was the previous owner. He wanted to retire, and I was doing it, and he's like, well, why don't you just buy the business? And I'm like, well, I've already been doing it, so I might as well. But
you were running the show.
I was already running the show. Yeah.
Ron was out on the golf course. You're taking care of all the customers, aren't you?
Or fishing. He loved to fish too.
Yeah.
So.
But he had proven himself. I mean, clearly, to be in business that long here in Metro Detroit tells me you're doing something right.
Yeah, he has a very good reputation. Even still today, I'll go to lunch and I'll talk to some of the guys at lunch that are sitting there, and I'll be like, oh, you remember Ron Slanik? And they're like, Ron, how is he? I'm like, doing great. He's retired in Florida.
Yeah. I took over his business. And, it's interesting to me because you mentioned, you've worked yourself up. I mean, here you are, a female owner of a company. Not that is necessarily revolutionary, but it is something noteworthy. And the only female-owned Energy Star certified heating and cooling company in all of Michigan?
In all of Michigan.
See?
Yes. So we definitely strive ourselves on doing something different and being different and being better than the next person. Because there's a lot of heating and cooling contractors out there. So being better at things is obviously what we strive to do. And being Energy Star certified is a big deal.
What does it mean to be Energy Star certified for our listening audience who may not know what that is?
So do you know that little blue sticker that's on your refrigerator or on your washer and dryer? So we put those...
The one that says Go Blue?
Yeah. That one that says Go Green.
Perfect.
So we put those on HVAC systems. So when we install ductwork or install a furnace or install an air conditioner, we have a certain standard that we have to stick to, that we get trained on and certified on every single year, above and beyond the normal installation that is a standard. So you have a base of, let's say your base installation is a 1. We have to always consistently be at a 4 or a 5. To maintain our certification.
So this is something that is very high standard.
Yes.
And it's really industry leading.
Yes.
This is not something you take lightly. You want to make sure that all of those that are working with you, your technicians, your service crew, have the best training so that they can offer the best services to your customers.
Absolutely. And everything is gone back over with a fine-tooth comb between the technician, my field service technician, everything is a higher standard so that nothing's left open, basically, so that you get better airflow and better energy savings in the long run, because that's really what it's about, trying to save as much money as possible, and your heating and cooling system can do a lot for you in that instance.
Yeah, and I think, in Michigan with the Four Seasons, just different than in other places of the country, there's a lot to think about in terms of your furnace, your heating and cooling units, and how they're being worked, in some cases overworked.
Yes.
During, the very cold time of year and during the very hot time of year. As we get into, the dead heat of summer here, and we're seeing temperatures over 80 and 90 degrees, people are going to be running their AC units continuously in some cases.
Yeah, absolutely. But you want it to also run continuously. A lot of people are like, it's never turning off until the night. Well, that's okay. You want it to run consistently.
And that's because?
Just the humidity and the air. And it basically what the air conditioner does in your home is it cleans out the humidity. So you're not sticky, you're not feeling that wet feeling. That's what an air conditioner is. And so the more it runs, generally means the higher humidity that you have outside or in your home. But when if it stop goes, something's wrong.
So if you're trying to save money, you're trying to be efficient, and so some people will, turn up the thermostat to whatever it is, 78 or 80, meaning they're not trying to run the system too often. Is that a good idea? And I'm trying to remember what the average temperature is for the homeowner during this time of year. Typically, 72, 3, 4, something in there?
It just depends. Mine sits at 72 during the day, and I put it down a little bit further at 69 during the night. I would tell you probably the average is about 69, 70. If you're comfortable...
That would be chilly in my home, I'm just telling you.
If you're comfortable setting your thermostat at 74... and you're not going up, down, up, down, up, down, then keep it there. You don't want to play with the thermostat too much, because you're going to have that issue where it's going to turn on, turn off, turn on to be satisfied. So your thermostat actually tells, it generally is in a hallway, it will tell your units when to turn on, when to turn off, because that thermostat is, let's say, like a thermometer. Once that air gets to that thermostat, it's satisfied. So your little number and your big number match. That's when it'll turn off your unit.
So are there some do's and don'ts that homeowners should be thinking about specifically for summer heat?
Absolutely. So we want to make sure we keep our blinds shut. We all love the sun because we don't get very much of it here in Michigan. But blinds, curtains shut, ceiling fans. If you have high ceilings, make sure you have your ceiling fan on. Just low is fine. It'll help keep your airflow going. Keep your doors, your windows shut as much as possible. Don't let that warmth into the home, and you'll be comfortable at that point.
Yeah.
So do all of that. Don't leave your doors open. Don't play with your thermostat, and do make sure your filters change, because your air conditioner is outside, yes, but it also uses the items inside your furnace to run.
So the idea of the circulation of the air in the home, there are some people that will cool it down and then they'll turn the temperature up but keep the fan going so that the air circulation in the house continues. Is that okay to do?
Yeah. So if you want to leave on your thermostat, it says fan on or auto. I leave mine on to auto. My mom leaves hers on so that it's consistently running without her having to keep it at 69 all the time.
Even though it's not necessarily cooling all day long.
So it's rotating that cool air that you already have in the home. So you're utilizing what you already have there. So it's like free cooling. Free energy.
Yeah, I'm all for free. What's interesting, too, is that some people think, AC or fans, growing up in Michigan, I don't remember AC in the house until much later. I mean, we had fans everywhere, and then my brother would hog all the fans and put them in his bedroom, and then we'd all be sweating overnight. But I won't go there. Let's just sit there for a while. So it's okay to run those fans to circulate the air, even though you're using the AC system to cool it down, because, again, this is airflow in the home, doors closed.
Yes.
As you said, because then we're just letting all the cool air out.
Yeah, if you're not using a room in your house, so let's say a back bedroom, you have a couple and you don't ever use that bedroom, shut the registers down in that room and shut that door. You don't need that room. You don't need to go in there. So why would you cool a space that doesn't have anybody in there?
Yeah, I mean, it seems common sense just to hear you talk about it, Kaylajoy, but I'm not sure that a lot of people necessarily understand these things that kind of help regulate the system so that it's not overworked. You're keeping the house cool, but you're not overly, using your AC to cool it down to temperatures. Because, I mean, you got to remember, the cost of energy and all of that. We'll get into, in fact, the services you offer, your maintenance plans. For those listening who aren't familiar with RC Heating and Cooling, they're offering all of our WMUZ listeners a 15% discount on all maintenance plans. And if you don't have a maintenance plan that you're not working with a heating and cooling company with, take advantage of it, whether it's the performance plan, peace of mind, or the ultimate plan. These plans start as little as $22 a month, and you get 15% off. You can learn more at rcheatcool.com. Again, that's rcheatcool.com, or call Kayla and her team at 586-991-5990. That's 586-991-5990. We'll continue here on the Home and Health Show on WMUZ 103.5 The Light, Detroit made, Bible strong.